Um, Welcome back to the deep dive. We are so glad you're here with us today because we're going to perform a bit of an autopsy.
A very detailed autopsy.
Right, exactly. We are dissecting a piece of media that basically fundamentally flips the script on a genre that I think we all feel like we know inside and out.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, reality television competition show.
Yeah, reality TV.
It takes the standard formula we've been watching for, what, 20 years? And it just inverts it completely. It's like looking at Survivor through a funhouse mirror.
Exactly. I mean, think about the standard tropes for a second. You know the drill, right?
Right.
You get a bunch of type A contestants, usually people who enthusiastically describe themselves as alpha or whatever.
Oh, please.
And you just drop them on a deserted island or in a sprawling mansion, and they spend an entire season, weeks, sometimes months, clawing their way up a metaphorical or sometimes literal mountain.
Yeah, they suffer, they starve, they politic.
They stab each other in the back.
Yeah.
And for what? To grab the prize at the very end.
The money is the finish line.
Right, it's the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
It is the carrot on the stick. That structure drives the entire narrative arc from zero to hero. It's about aspiration. It's about earning the right to be rich through suffering and skill.
But what if I told you there's a show that takes that carrot and just hands it to someone in the first 60 seconds?
Just right up front.
Right. What if the money isn't at the finish line, waiting for the worthy winner, but right there in the starting blocks, sitting in a cardboard box?
Today, we are diving deep into Million Dollar Secret, the Netflix show that is completely rewriting the rules of greed, paranoia, and social deception.
It is such a fascinating inversion of the genre, and we have a massive stack of sources today to help you unpack this. We've got reviews from Collider and The Guardian, some incredibly deep analytical pieces on what they call the architecture of deception, and of course some very heated, very revealing Reddit threads.
Oh, the Reddit threads. They really give us the pulse of the audience.
Wow.
They certainly do. And all these sources paint a picture of a show that is less about winning a prize in the traditional sense and more about the psychological torture of trying to keep it.
Okay, so let's unpack this from the top.
Yeah.
Because the premise alone hooked me immediately. I've seen it described in our notes as a reverse heist.
That is probably the best shorthand for it, a reverse heist. Because instead of planning a robbery to get the loot, the robbery has basically already happened.
Yeah.
And now you have to get away with it while living with the police.
That is such a stressful concept. Yeah. So let's set the scene for everyone listening. What is the physical environment where this psychological experiment takes place? Because it definitely doesn't look like a prison.
Oh, far from it. The setting is absolutely crucial to the vibe. It's called the Stag in the show's lore.
The Stag.
Right. But in reality, it's this luxury estate called Chateau Okanagan in Kelowna, British Columbia. It is stunning.
It looks unbelievable on screen.
Yeah. We are talking panoramic views of the lake, hyper-modern architecture, floor-to-ceiling glass, infinity pools. It screams wealth. It screams you have made it.
It's the kind of place where you expect to see people sipping champagne and discussing their stock portfolios, not plotting to completely destroy each other.
Precisely. And that juxtaposition is highly intentional. You have 12 strangers arriving at this paradise. They go to their rooms, which are opulent, high-thread count sheets, the works, and they find a box.
A simple box.
And in that box, for one person, and just one person, is $1 million in cash.
And that exact moment, that splits the universe of the show instantly.
It changes the entire psychological landscape in a millisecond. Usually in a competition show, the question driving the contestant is, how do I win? How do I get to the end?
Right.
But here, for that one person holding the cash, the question immediately becomes, how do I hide?
The offensive game becomes a defensive game before they've even unpacked their suitcase.
Exactly. You are instantly in possession of a life-changing amount of money. And because of the rules of the game, every single person you just met, every hand you just shook, is a threat.
They are predators.
They are not your competitors, they are your predators. It is instant isolation.
We really have to talk about the man overseeing all this chaos. The host. It's Peter Serafinowicz, the British comedian. And he is, well, he's not Jeff Probst, let's put it that way.
He certainly isn't. He is fantastic in this role, though.
He's not doing the typical, let's get ready to rumble high-energy hosting gig. Our sources describe him as having this bizarre upper-class aloofness. He's sort of playing a character, right?
Yes, the eccentric owner of the estate.
Yeah.
He's channeling this slightly bored, incredibly wealthy aristocrat. There are these incredible scenes where the contestants are having these intense, panic-induced
Mom's
meltdowns.
crying.
People crying, screaming about who is lying to whom, and the camera just cuts to Peter, and he's just there in the background, happily eating his dinner, watching the chaos like it's a play he put on for his own amusement.
It is so dismissive. It's great. It reminds me of the Hunger Games Capital folks, just watching the struggle for sport.
It sets a tone that is very specific. It's dark, it's mysterious, but it's also, as one critic put it, knowingly batty.
Knowingly batty.
Yes. It signals to you, the audience, that this is a game, yes, but it's also a social experiment. And the experiment is this: what happens to human beings when you give them $1 million and tell them they can only keep it if they lie to everyone they know?
That is the core question right there. So let's get into the mechanics of how they actually answer that question.
Yeah.
Because this isn't just hide and seek. There is a structure to the madness. We've got two factions, the millionaire and the hunters.
Right. The other 11 contestants are the hunters. Their goal is very simple: identify the millionaire and eliminate them. This happens at the nightly elimination dinner. But here is where it gets really interesting.
This is the genius part.
And this is the architecture of deception we read about in the analysis. If the group successfully votes out the millionaire, the game doesn't end. The money doesn't leave with the victim.
That is the key. If I vote you out and you have the money, I don't win. I don't get a check.
No. The money is rehidden.
Yeah.
It is randomly assigned to one of the survivors. This creates what the show calls the transfer mechanic.
Which completely messes up the incentives. Because if I catch the millionaire today, I basically just put the money back in play. And maybe I get it next.
Precisely. It creates a hot potato dynamic. You want to catch the millionaire because you want the chance to be the millionaire. But, and this is a big complicating factor, if you get the money too early in the season, you become the prey.
Right.
You have to survive episode after episode of lying to everyone's face.
It's a duration problem. Holding the money for 1 day is hard enough. Holding it for 12 days is a waking nightmare.
Exactly. So mathematically, if you are a smart player, you might actually want the millionaire to stay in for a while. You want them to carry the burden, take the heat, and exhaust themselves.
Let them do the heavy lifting.
Yes. You want to strike at the end, but you can't trust anyone else to think that way. Everyone else wants the lottery ticket right now.
It creates this shifting alliance structure where today's ally is tomorrow's target. If I think you have the money, I want you out. But if I think I might get the money next, I need to know who I can trust to not vote me out. It is dizzying.
It's 4D chess played with very fragile human emotions.
And to make matters worse, or better, for us watching the show, doesn't just let the millionaire hide in their room. They force the millionaire to act weird. They can't just go to bed and sleep all day.
This is the gamification of social interaction. The producers introduced secret agendas. The millionaire has to complete specific tasks to gain advantages in the game, like extra votes or the kill shot, or the ability to move the money to someone else.
And these agendas are hilarious to watch, but when you think about actually doing them, they are incredibly stressful. We are talking about things that force you to break the basic social contract. In episode 1, the millionaire had to hug every single guest before the daily activity started.
Which seems innocent enough on paper. Go hug people. But think about the context for a second. You are in a high-stakes environment where everyone is highly suspicious of everyone else. You barely know these people. And now you have to initiate physical contact with everyone without it looking like you're going down a checklist.
If I'm sitting there and someone who I haven't spoken to all morning suddenly comes over and gives me a big squeeze, my radar's going up immediately. I'd be thinking, why are you touching me right now?
Exactly. It creates data for the hunters. If someone is acting slightly offer, being overly affectionate, lingering too long, the hunters have to ask, is it just their personality? Are they just a hugger? Or are they completing a secret agenda? It creates paranoia around basic human kindness.
Episode 2. The millionaire had to work 5 specific song titles into casual conversation. Can you imagine trying to shoehorn Cry Me a River or something into a discussion about scrambled eggs without sounding insane?
It's incredibly difficult. Or episode 6, where they had to get 3 guests to say Justin Timberlake.
Hey guys, totally random thought. Who's the lead singer of NSYNC again?
Right. And the response is going to be, why are you asking that, Dave? We're talking about elimination strategy. It forces the millionaire to break the flow of natural conversation. It makes them stick out. It makes them awkward.
There was one agenda that I found particularly diabolical. They had to get someone to agree that they heard a ringing sound.
That is literally gaslighting.
It is. It's institutionalized gaslighting for a cash prize.
Yeah.
Do you hear that? I swear I hear ringing. No, I don't. Are you sure? It's really loud.
Think about the cognitive load on the millionaire here. They have the stress of the money, the literal weight of the secret. They have the stress of the lie, maintaining their cover story. And now, on top of that, they have to track their agenda progress.
Did I hug 6 people or 7?
Did I get the Justin Timberlake quote yet? All while trying to appear completely relaxed and natural. It's a pressure cooker.
It's multitasking, where the penalty for failure is $1 million. And while the millionaire is sweating bullets trying to get people to talk about pop stars, the hunters are gathering ammo.
Yep.
They do challenges, trust-based stuff, physical stuff, and the winners go to the trophy room.
The trophy room is where the game gets very specific. The winners get a clue. But I want to pause here because our sources, specifically the reviews from Collider and those deep dive Reddit discussions, point out a significant design flaw in this mechanic.
The clues were a bit blunt.
Blunt is a polite way to put it. Sometimes they were just direct biographical facts, like the millionaire has 2 siblings.
Yeah, that's not a riddle. That's just data.
It's a background check. And what this does is force the millionaire to build these tangled webs of lies about their actual lives before the clues even come out. You can't just lie about the game. You have to lie about your reality.
Right.
You have to lie about your job, your family size, where you're from. Because if a clue comes out that says, the millionaire is from Fargo, and you told everyone you're from Fargo on day 1, you are toast.
So it creates a necessity for what the analysis calls identity stripping. You can't be yourself. You have to invent a persona that is clue-proof.
Which is exhausting. Maintaining a fake persona for weeks is psychologically draining. You have to remember, did I tell Sam I have a brother? Or did I say I was an only child? One slip up and it's over.
So let's talk about the people who actually had to play this impossible game. Because the cast and the way they fell apart is where the real story is. The first millionaire right out of the gate was Lauren Trefethrin.
Lauren, the stay-at-home mom from Fargo.
She seemed so nice. She got the money first. And honestly, looking back, she actually played the hug agenda really well. She was just this warm, affectionate mom type, so hugging everyone didn't seem that weird for her.
It fit her archetype perfectly. That was her advantage.
But the pressure, oh man, the pressure ate her up. You could see it in her eyes.
It did. The isolation of the secret is heavy, and this led to one of the most controversial moments of the early season. Lauren voluntarily revealed she was the millionaire.
Wait, let's clarify this for the listener. She didn't have the money anymore when she revealed this, right?
Correct. She had successfully completed an agenda and earned an advantage called move the money. So she transferred the cash to someone else randomly. She was safe. She didn't have the target on her back anymore.
Right.
So in an effort to build trust, she told the group, hey guys, I was the millionaire, but I moved it. It's gone. I am one of you now.
Logic would dictate that people should appreciate the honesty. Thanks for the info, Lauren. Now we know you're safe. Now we can work together to find the new millionaire.
You would think so. That is the rational, mathematical response. But that is not what happened. This brings us to what the sources call the Mean Girls narrative. Instead of thanking her, a specific group of contestants, led by Sydney, Jamie, and Chris, absolutely villainized her.
This was wild to watch. Jamie is a life coach, by the way. I want to put a pin in that because the irony is delicious. But she started mocking Lauren's voice.
It was incredibly visceral.
She claimed her spirit gave her the ick.
This is a perfect example of what psychologists call moral licensing or moral disengagement. The hunters attacked Lauren for lying. They were supposedly outraged that she had deceived them, but lying is the premise of the show.
Right. It's like getting mad at someone for tackling you in football.
Yep.
It was the game. You signed up for the tackling.
But see, by framing Lauren as dangerous or untrustworthy, they gave themselves internal permission to bully her. It's a defense mechanism. If I admit that I'm bullying a nice mom from Fargo because I'm greedy and I want the money, I feel like a bad person.
Yeah.
But if I convince myself that she is a villain who gave me bad vibes, then I am the hero of the story. I am purging the evil from the house.
Yeah, Amy, using spiritual language, saying my spirit gives me the ick, is fascinating. It's a way to mask a personal attack as some sort of higher intuition.
It is weaponized spirituality. It completely shuts down debate because you can't logically argue with someone's spirit.
And strategically voting her out was just dumb, wasn't it?
Right. It was mathematically stupid. Lauren was the only person in the room confirmed not to be the current millionaire because she just admitted she moved it. If you are a hunter, you want to keep her around. She increases your odds of finding the real target because you can permanently cross her off the list.
Right. But they didn't care.
By voting her out, they prioritized emotional punishment over logical gameplay. They wanted to punish the liar more than they wanted to win the game.
Speaking of emotional punishment, we have to talk about Se-young. This broke my heart a little. Se-young Metzroth, a systems VP. Smart, logical, very organized.
And very misunderstood by the group.
She got targeted by Phil Roundtree. Now, Phil is a therapist.
Yeah.
A professional therapist in the real world.
Yes. Keep that in mind. The credentials really matter here.
So Phil aggressively questions Se-young about a completely trivial detail. He asks her where she sat at breakfast, just a random memory test out of nowhere. And Se-young, she couldn't remember. She froze up, she got stressed, and she started to cry.
And Phil jumped on it instantly. He viewed her crying as manipulation. He thought it was a performance. Oh, she's crying to get sympathy. She must be guilty.
But looking at the Reddit threads and the deep dive analysis we have, a lot of people pointed out that this looked like a neurodivergent response, or just the stress of masking in a highly volatile environment.
Absolutely. In high-stress environments, when you are trying to maintain a social mask all day, a sudden aggressive confrontation can cause what is called emotional dysregulation. Her brain likely short-circuited from the stress. She wasn't manipulating. She was completely overwhelmed. The irony here is palpable. Phil, the professional therapist, completely lacked empathy in that crucial moment. He misread a stress response as guilt. As the sources say, he was loud and wrong.
Loud and wrong seems to be a major theme for the first half of the season. The loudest people, Phil, Jaime, Sydney, were often the most incorrect.
Yep.
And the show really knows how to dial up that stress to force these human errors. Did you see the snake challenge?
Episode 3. I couldn't look away.
They had to handle live snakes. And Sydney, one of the mean girls we mentioned, had a full-blown panic attack.
The sources actually note that the edit toned it down, but she was hysterical. This is stress induction. The show strips away that bougie luxury resort surface. You can be in a beautiful chateau sipping fine wine, but if I put a python in your hands, the luxury disappears.
Yeah, the real you comes out.
The facade cracks. They are trying to find the psychological breaking point of every player.
And they found it. But let's move to the mid-game, because this is where the incentive inversion really kicks in. The money moves. And who does it land on? Phil.
The irony completes its circle. Phil, the therapist who aggressively hunted Se-young for crying, becomes the millionaire.
And how did the man who claimed to be an expert on human behavior handle the pressure?
Poorly. Very poorly. He crumbled. He went from being the aggressor, the alpha hunter, to being the victim, and his behavior changed instantly. He became quiet. He withdrew into himself.
The sources called it a tell.
It was a massive tell, a neon sign. And this is where we see the moralist archetype completely fail. Phil couldn't balance his professional ethics, his identity as a good guy therapist, with the deception required to hold the money. He tried to hold hands and build trust, but because he was hiding a massive secret, it came off as creepy and manipulative.
It's like he was trying to use his therapist tools. You know, let's connect, let's build a bond, but the context of the secret poisoned the tool.
Exactly. Authenticity is the ultimate currency of therapy. Deception is the ultimate currency of this game. You cannot do both at the same time.
And he got caught. A clue about his profession came out, the millionaire is a professor or something similar, and he was done. But his downfall paved the way for the real star of the season. The winner. The sniper. Kara Keys.
Kara is fascinating to analyze. She is an in-and-out cook from Los Angeles.
Burger flipper to millionaire is the American dream right there.
But her gameplay was elite. She was described as soft-spoken and under the radar, while everyone else was screaming and crying and accusing each other, while Jaime was talking about spirits and Phil was analyzing psyches. Kara was just watching.
She clocked Phil, didn't she?
She did. She noticed his withdrawal. She also noticed when Lauren changed seats earlier in the game. She was gathering real data while everyone else was gathering drama.
And when she got the money, she changed absolutely nothing about her behavior.
That was her masterstroke. She survived by being boring. We call this the gray rock method in psychology. You become so uninteresting, so unreactive that people just glaze right over you. She realized that in a house full of big personalities, Sydney, Chris, Jaime, the best camouflage is absolute mediocrity. She let the loud players take the heat.
It's brilliant. The sources call this adversarial empathy.
Right. It's understanding your opponents better than they understand themselves. She knew that Sydney was a physical threat and a social threat. So, in the laser maze challenge, Kara intentionally threw the game. She lost on purpose to ensure Sydney would be eliminated. That is a level of strategic detachment that Phil and Lauren just did not have.
It's so cold-blooded.
Yeah.
Love it. Now, everyone compares this show to The Traitors. We see that comparison everywhere in the sources. Is this just The Traitors with a smaller budget?
It is the natural comparison. Both are deception games set in luxury estates.
But you think there's a key difference?
It is the incentive inversion we talked about earlier. In The Traitors, you are hunting the enemy. You want to banish them to protect the group. In $1 Million Secret, you want to become the enemy. You want to catch the millionaire so you can take their place. The creator called it the backstabbing Olympics for a very good reason.
It's a much more selfish game.
Yes. And the source consensus suggests $1 Million Secret is better for actual gamers. In The Traitors, the challenges just add money to a pot that everyone shares. It's a team effort. In this show, the challenges yield personal data, clues, advantages. If you win a challenge here, you get a weapon. If you win a challenge in The Traitors, you just get a slightly bigger bank account for the group. It makes the gameplay much more active and individualistic.
Okay, so Kara is the millionaire. She's playing the sniper game perfectly. We get to the finale, the final three. We have Kara, we have Sam Hubbard, the cop, and we have Corey Niles, the builder.
Let's break down the opposition. Sam, the cop, played the detective role. She actually clocked Lauren and Phil very early on. She was good at spotting the lies, but she struggled with the social game. She couldn't get the group to listen to her. She was a Cassandra of the season. She knew the truth, but no one believed her.
And Corey.
Corey was the pivot, or, less charitably, the sheet. He followed the groupthink. He survived by not making waves. He was the quintessential follower.
So it's the sniper, the detective, and the sheep. And there's a clue that almost ruins everything for Kara right at the end. The millionaire has 2 siblings.
This was a nail-biter. That clue was true for Kara, but luck was on her side. It was also true for Corey.
Oh, wow. So Kara could deflect.
Exactly. She navigated it by bluffing, letting the suspicion naturally fall on Corey while keeping her cool. She didn't over-defend herself. She just let the ambiguity sit there in the room.
So we are at the very end. The stakes are massive.
Yeah.
$1 million. It's the climax of the season. And the final challenge, the thing that decides who gets the power to swap boxes and determine the winner is... Wait, I can't even say it without laughing.
Threading needles.
Cushion.
The cushion of needles, yes.
I mean, come on. We had laser mazes, we had live snakes, we had intense psychological warfare, and it ends with the sewing circle.
The sources hated this. The vitriol in the reviews was intense. Collider called it a stupid mini-game and said the show botched the landing. It felt completely anticlimactic. You have a game built on complex social prowess, manipulation, reading body language, and you decide the winner based on manual dexterity, based on who has the steadiest hands. It felt like a massive betrayal of the show's premise.
It's like deciding the winner of a chess tournament with an arm wrestling match.
Yeah.
It just doesn't fit the skill set we've been watching them use for 10 episodes.
Exactly. It trivialized the journey. But despite the lame challenge, the final mechanic was interesting. The winner of the needle threading got to swap boxes.
So Kara wins the needle threading.
No, actually. That is the crazy part. The mechanic allowed the top 2 to swap. But the final move, Kara convinced Corey to swap boxes. She pulled a complete Jedi mind trick on him.
How does that even work?
She made him think he was stealing the $1 million from her. She played directly into his greed. She manipulated the situation so that he believed taking her box was his path to victory.
Wait, so he thought she had the money? So he swapped to take her box?
Yes. But through the mechanics of the swap and the double bluff, honestly, it's complicated to explain without a whiteboard. She maintained control. She effectively convinced him to hand her the win while he thought he was robbing her. It was the ultimate bin-and-out burger flip. She flipped the script on him.
And she wins. Kara goes back to flipping burgers, temporarily, I assume, with a cool $1 million in the bank.
A well-deserved win for the most observant player in the game. She proved that silence is more powerful than noise.
So, that's the season. But I want to zoom out a bit. We've touched on it, but let's go deeper into the psychology here. Because $1 Million Secret isn't just a game show. It is a mirror.
It is, and the reflection isn't always pretty.
Let's talk about the psychology of greed. We have this source from American TV that talks about dopamine hijacking. What is actually happening in their brains when that box opens?
This is real science. When the brain anticipates a reward as large as $1 million, Dopamine floods the system. It creates a tunnel vision. It shifts cognitive control from the prefrontal cortex, which handles long-term consequences like, will I lose my friends, or is this moral, or will I look like a jerk on national TV? It shifts all that to the limbic system, which is all about short-term gratification. I want the prize. Now,
It's like the money short-circuits the conscience.
precisely. It creates a temporary sociopathy, and this leads to cognitive dissonance reduction. We saw this with the Mean Girls clique. They bullied Lauren. Deep down, they probably knew that was unkind. But the greed, the intense desire for the money, it creates a dissonance. I'm a good person, but I'm doing a bad thing. So the brain fixes it by changing the narrative. I'm not doing a bad thing. Lauren is a villain. She lied. She deserves this.
They rationalize their cruelty to protect their own self-image.
Exactly. I had no choice. It's for the game. She gave me bad vibes. It's all rationalization to justify the pursuit of greed.
And it creates these transactional relationships. That was another big theme in our reading.
The secret agendas were the perfect metaphor for this. When the millionaire has to hug you to get money, they are treating you like a prop. I need to hug you, not because I like you, but because you are an ATM machine.
Ouch. But that's true. It reduces humanity to utility.
And the show highlights how quickly real-world friendships can become transactional when money is involved. The source references inheritance disputes. You see families fall apart over money because suddenly the relationship is secondary to the asset. Silence becomes currency. Trust becomes a liability.
It is dark, but it's fascinating. And we have to circle back to Jamie and the spirit versus the game aspect.
This is the moral disengagement we mentioned. Jamie claimed to be spiritual, intuitive, a life coach, but she used those very tools to mask a strategic attack.
My spirit gives me the ick. I'm going to be thinking about that phrase for a long time.
It is a weaponization of therapy speak. It shows how people will wrap greed in the language of morality to sleep at night. She couldn't just say, I want Lauren out so I can win. She had to make it a spiritual imperative. It's hypocrisy, but it's a very human form of hypocrisy. We all do it to some degree. We tell ourselves stories to justify our wants.
So what does this all mean for us, the viewers? We sit on our couches, we judge them, we say, I would never do that. I would never bully Lauren. I would never gaslight someone about a ringing sound.
But would we?
That is the question. Million Dollar Secret is a psychological thriller disguised as a social experiment. It's a shameless ripoff of The Traitors, sure, but that transfer mechanic makes it unique. It forces us to ask, what is your price?
Yeah, at what dollar amount does your moral compass start to spin? Is it 10 grand, 100 grand, a million?
If you open that box and you saw the cat, really saw it, would you be a Lauren? Would the guilt eat you alive until you confessed and got crushed? Or would you be a Kara? Do you look your friends in the eye, lie about your family, throw a physical challenge, and thread the needle? That is the million-dollar question. And the good news is, Season 2 is confirmed.
It is, and the meta has changed entirely. Now, everyone has seen the show. They know the tricks. They know about the agendas.
So the question is, will the next batch of contestants be even more ruthless? Will they know that the quiet ones are the dangerous ones?
I suspect we will see a lot more snipers and a lot less moralists. The innocence is completely gone.
I can't wait. Well, that's it for our deep dive into the architecture of deception. Remember, out there in the real world,
Keep your friends close.
and your boxes closer. Thanks for listening.